Today I'll be covering how to do section 3 of the first practice test on the College Board website. So for this test, you're given 25 minutes to complete 20 questions, which gives you a little bit over a minute per question. The good news is that the questions are really simple. They don't have that many steps. And most of them are algebra. So if you know the question types really well, and you are well prepared for the test, it should take a lot less than a minute per question, and you should finish with a lot of time left to check over your answers. So let's see what they look like and how to do them. So the first one tells us k is 3 and we need to solve for x. Let's go ahead and do that. And we multiply by 3, add 1, we get 10 for x. Then in question 2, we're adding imaginary numbers by combining like terms. So 7 plus -8 is -1. 3i plus 9i is 12i. For the next one, they tell us M was for 5 hours. P, text messages, was for 4 hours. So then to get the total number of messages, we just have to match the variable with the number of hours. So it's 5M plus 4P. In the next one, we have a linear equation. So remember that is slope and y-intercept. So they're asking us about 108, which is the y-intercept. The y-intercept will always be the initial value. So we know it can't be C or D, which are the rates. And it can't be A, which is the time to complete. It'll be B, the initial value. For 5, we're combining like terms, so that's same variables and same exponents. So we have x squared y minus negative x squared y. That becomes x squared y plus x squared y, which is 2x squared y. We can get rid of a and we can get rid of b. Then we have negative 3y squared minus negative 3y squared. So that becomes 0. We can get rid of d, and that gives us c. For the next one, we again start with a linear equation. And then they are asking for the increase, the rate of increase each year. So that's just the slope. The rate of increase is the slope. So that'll be 3. No calculation is needed for this problem. For the next one, we start with an equation at the top, and then it's rewritten with the answer choices. So we don't need to read through the problem. We just need to know we're rewriting this equation. And it looks complicated, but it's really just a one-step equation. We are solving for P, remember. So we just need to multiply by this flipped fraction. So we take we've multiplied by the reciprocal of this, and the reciprocal of this is B. Then for number 8, so they want 4b over a. Well, b over a would be the reciprocal of 2, which is 1/2, and then multiply 1/2 by 4. That gives us 2. And then for number 9, we're solving a system. So let's go ahead and order it. And I'll be using elimination. So let's go ahead and get rid of the y's by multiplying the bottom equation by -2. So that'll give us 2x minus 4y equals 38 on the bottom. Then when we add the equations, we get 5x equals 15, x equals 3. So we get B. Here we're given a polynomial, and they tell us g of 4 equals 8. So 8 is the output. For 8 is g of x, and 4 is our input. So 4 is x. So we have 8 times 4 squared plus 24. 8 equals 16a plus 24. And solving for a, we get -1. So then our equation is g of x equals -x squared plus 24. And we can plug in -4. So that gives us -16 plus 24, which is 8. Here we want the price when it is equal to the price of the pound of chicken. So we set the price as equal. And we can solve for x. We get x equals 4 when we solve that multi-step equation. And then x was the weeks, so we still have to plug in x to one of the top equations. And we get d. For number 12, they tell us it passes through the origin and it's a slope of 1/7. So if we write it out, it's y equals 1/7 x. No, the y-intercept is 0 because it passes through the origin. And so then we want the point that it could go through. So then we could plug these points in, and it has to be d because 14 times 1/7 is 2. Then for number 13, we need to simplify this. So we have 1 over, and then we can add these fractions. We need a common denominator. So that could be x plus 2 times x plus 3. So we'll have x plus 3 over x plus 2 times x plus 3 for the first fraction. And I'm going to combine those. So it's x squared plus 5x plus 6. And then for the other fraction, it's x plus 2 over x squared plus 5x plus 6. And then when we add them, we have 1 over 2x plus 5 over x squared plus 5x plus 6. And then we flip the fraction because it's under the 1, and that gives us b. For the next one, we have exponents. We're trying to find the value of this, so we can get them to be the same base by writing 8 as 2 cubed. And then use your division rule with exponents. So subtract the exponents while keeping the base the same. And then you'll notice 3x minus y equals 12. So instead of 2 to the power of 3x minus y, it's 2 to the power of 12, or a. Then for our last multiple choice question, we can, to get this in the same form, because we have factored form on the left and standard form on the right, we can make it standard form by foiling. So abx squared plus 7ax plus 2bx plus 14 equals 15x squared plus cx plus 14. Then let's start with the ones in front of the x squared, because they have the fewest variables. So we have AB equals 15. And we also know A plus B equals 8. So that's a system. And we know then that A equals 5 when B equals 3, and A equals 3 when B equals 5. So now we can go and look at the x's. We know that 7A plus 2b equals c, since they're both in front of the x. And so we can now plug in what we got for a and b. You have 7 times 5 plus 2 times 3 equals c. And so c equals 35 plus 6, which is 41. The answer must be D. Okay, so now we get to our free response questions. T squared minus 4, t squared equals 4, and t equals 2 when you take the square root of both sides. We can label this triangle. So it will be AB is 1800, EB is 1400, BD is 700, and CD is 800. And then these are similar triangles. Always with this sort of diagram, there'll be similar triangles. So we want the value of X. AE and CD are corresponding sides, so we could write X over 800. And then 1400 and 700 are corresponding sides. So we can write 1400 over 700, set them equal. And then for X, we'll get 1600. We have another system solving for X, which means we need to get rid of the Y. So we can multiply the top by -2. And we get -X equals -7, X equals 7. Okay, this one requires no calculation. You just have to know an identity. Sine of X equals cosine of 90 minus X. So if sine of X equals 4 over 5, then cosine of 90 minus X also equals 4 over 5. And then for the last one, you plug in A, so 2 times 5 rad 2 equals rad 2x. You can simplify the left side. And then to get rid of the square root, square both sides. So on the left side, you get 100 times 2. And on the right side, you get 2x. And then divide by 2 on both sides, and you get 100 equals x. And that's it. So know your algebra skills really well. There was a little bit of other skills, but it was mainly algebra. Just know these skills really well, know the question types, and you'll be able to get through this test really quickly.